kind of person I got married to is a partner, is a builder. Am I seeing it as a setback or rather to explore opportunities? I was always attending events, even Lagos. I had a circle of people, family, friends. I had built thought leadership. Now going to a place that doesn't have that kind of buzz, doesn't have that kind of condition that will make me, in quote, thrive with the kind of things that I was doing. But I had to refrain.
I think Uyo just kept on making a home for us. When we started the process, I was sure that maybe it was time to go to Lagos.
Because there's a lot of moves that we made
of spontaneous
that some people cannot make.
So excited, of course, because it's another episode of ForFamilies Podcast. Woo! My head, there's studio audience, but don't blame me. TV background. I'm Isabella, your host, and I'm really excited about today's episode. You know, if you're new here, ForFamilies Podcast, we keep it real, no holds barred. We're just talking about those issues that affect children, parents, families, marriage, divorce, everything in between. This is the place. It's a safe space, and I'm really, really glad when we have people come on set and share their stories. It really gladdens me because I'm also learning. It's not only you guys that are enjoying. So if you haven't already subscribed, one question: what are you waiting for? Please go ahead and subscribe, tap the notification bell, and let everybody know that there's ForFamilies Podcast, because whether or not we like it, we're all part of a family: biological, spiritual, work family, atibebe law. We're part of the family. So please subscribe, and I can't wait to introduce our guests. Ooh, you see it's S, so that means we have 2 people. Yay! So, if you're Nigerian, you would have heard of NYSC, but I know that people from Obodo Oyibo abroad, you people are watching and you're wondering, what is NYSC? So, 1 year that you dedicate your life to the Nigerian government, and basically they will send you to a different part of the country and you get to work for a year. The government pays you money, but before that happens, there's a 3-week orientation camp, and during that time you're waiting with bated breath. Where are they going to send me to? I mean, you're doing the whole paramilitary training and social events, but the cocoa is, where are you getting posted to? Now, here's the kicker. They can post you to anywhere, but if you are married, luck is on your side. You can just go and tell them that I'm married, my husband lives in so place, I don't want to leave. And like that, you're not getting posted. And I was just wondering, why is it only the women that can go to where their husbands are? What about the men? What if the men have made that move for love, or they want to move to where their wife is? Why not? What is good for the goose is good for the gander. So I just always used to wonder, and now I've seen a situation where, maybe not because of NYSC, for love, the woman will move to where her husband is. And then for love, a husband will move to where his wife goes. Maybe the worker sent her somewhere. So I'm really interested in this conversation, because moving across the country or to another country is not easy. You're leaving behind the world that you're used to, and that love must be very, very strong. So our guests today are going to tell us, relocating for love, what's the impact on career, friends, ties, family? Now our guests, they are a power couple. Let me start with the husband. The husband is what you call tech bro. Those people that make a lot of money. They're always, pressing computer and everything. He is the founder and chief technology officer at Invitee.ng. So if you put it together, that's inviting. And you're probably wondering, what's that? It's an AI chat support system. So you have a business, you can't be responding to 800 messages. Why now? Just use the system, the support chat, and you put in the information you need and you can go to sleep, literally. So invitee.ng, and he's into things like big data, software development, AI, which is the one that is reigning now. Now, his wife is a social impact and sustainability leader. She's managing CSR projects for a multinational. See what I said there? They are power couple. She too has IT background, this skill development in IT. She's a podcast host herself, Voices with Victoria. She's a published author. I mean, so much in one couple. And guess what? They are both Victor and Victoria. Oh, how cute. Victor and Victoria Ndu. Welcome to ForFamilies Podcast.
Thank you so much, Isabella. You're so gracious and kind. I was like, this introduction, God says.
I didn't even tell them. Is she not looking sweet? Look sweet, yes, I love this Ashoke thing going on.
Thank you.
And Saiti, you're also trying. Yes.
Trying.
But next time you have to do Ashoke. See, you're the only one that
she wanted to win me today. So she won today.
Yeah. I don't always win.
See me on Sunday.
Okay. No problems. Thank you.
Victor and Victoria. I don't understand. Did you ever think you would marry a Victoria since you're Victor? And was it like, oh, she's Victoria, I'm Victor? Did it sweet your belly like that?
It's a very beautiful story, actually. Our parents were best friends. So we grew up together in the same area. In Festac extension there. The same area, the same church, so we grew up together. In fact, the bed which I used, my parents stopped at me and they didn't hope on getting another one. So they just gave the bed which I used to their parents. They were starting with her. Wow. I handed it over to her and then she slept on the same bed. Well, we just kept on growing. We just grew up together. Records, or rather, I've heard somewhere that they named her Victoria because of I was Victor. She will not agree, but that was what I heard. Whatever, but so it took we lost contact when we were around 10 years old. It took more than a decade. We didn't see or speak to each other. And then we forgot about each other, but just I was on the sidelines admiring what Victoria has become. Oh, Victoria is writing books and all that when I was in university. Then during NYSC, I was in NCCF, so I was here ringing the bell because of my post, ringing the bell on the staircase. Someone just said, hello. And then I looked, I was like, Chioma, I wanted to just give her a hug and all that. Then we exchanged a handshake. And
handshake for somebody that you grew up with.
Yeah, handshake. But so actually, it was not intentional actually, because I was sort of like reserved. I didn't know.
You had a girlfriend at the time.
He actually wanted to hug me, but I don't know why I stretched my hands instead.
Oh, it's you.
So it was me that.
Yes, and I quickly noticed that, and then we just settled. So after all that, we just kept in touch for a couple of years until I think that was 2022.
Yeah.
When I reached out to her, just normal conversation, and I discovered she was no longer she was single, and I said, how far? What's up? She's been the woman of my dreams. Even before I asked her a question. I remember a friend I was discussing with was like, what kind of lady you want to marry? And then I sent her profile to the girl that this is the type of woman I want to marry, and then God just made it.
Wow.
And now we are married, Victor and Victoria, and the V clan.
Oh wow.
The V's, yeah.
The V's, yes. Wow. Victoria, so if your parents were best friends or are best friends, like, did they see this coming? Was it ever like, was there some matchmaking?
We've had a lot of jokes. There's another joke. When it came to pay my bride price in the East, because I'm an Igbo girl at that, so decided to do it in the village. And the statement was made, I think your dad or my dad.
No, your dad.
My dad made the statement that you finally come to collect the land. So apparently they had to explain the backstory, that they were teasing themselves that my dad would tell his dad that you have land though in the village, you call the village name. When you are ready, come and take it. The other one say, okay, no problem, I'm coming, because he always comes to visit every December. Igbo people will travel, and then his father will come as well.
Yes.
So that land, come and take the land. On the day they came to pay the bride price, the statement was now made that, oh wow, casual statements we're making as friends. We didn't know that the land was not literal land, but it was a symbol of something. You people have finally come to take the land, you know. So there were jokes like that. There were also jokes like, we have pictures, baby pictures of us holding our hands together. When we were small, we still have the pictures. I know it was in our wedding magazine, right? So they were calling us husband and wife. When we were small, you know, when you have huge children and we're growing up together, Victor and Victoria, and they just say like your wife or your. And I remember
I think we always cried for something like, why are you calling someone my wife? I don't know, when we are small, it's something we are scared of. Maybe today it's not something that I hear small children saying that this is my girlfriend. When we are small, you can't call someone.
So it was the adults doing the teasing that were. So yeah, it was said.
Oh, it's such a sweet story. Guess it was in the cards, yes. Yeah. The land was always going to be taken.
Yeah. Sure.
So the elders had foreseen it, and it was only a matter of time.
On the chair, and then saw what was on the
so they saw it too. Yeah. So, you know, what is interesting is when I met Victoria, she wasn't yet married, and I think you're living in Abuja at the time.
Yes.
And then next thing I'm seeing, my girl is in Uyo. I'm like, okay. Work, love, and I was just like, wow. And then fast forward, she's in Lagos. I'm like, okay, there must be a story, because it takes a lot for people to move, and sometimes it's the cost of marriage. It costs people their marriage, where you see people relocating. The wife will go to Canada with the kids, and the husband will stay behind and eventually join or not join, and vice versa. I want to know from you, Victoria, Abuja is the capital of Nigeria. For people that don't know, Uyo is in the south. It's a much smaller state. Calmer. It's I say very suburban. It's
beautiful.
Yes, beautiful. I've been to Uyo. It's lovely, but some people will see it as, oh, you're in the center of government, and then you're moving to like. Not a village, but a small town or a small state, and for love. So I just want to know, like, what crossed your mind? Was it ever a deal breaker? Like, I can't leave this place, I can't leave this job. Did you try to convince him to come to Abuja? Yeah,
many things, right? But first off, I had the value system that I didn't want to personal belief. I'm not saying it's a standard. I don't want to stay far from my husband, especially trying to build a home, right? As new couples, we're trying to still solidify whatever it is that we had going. So it wasn't in fact, it wasn't something we had to discuss for too long. And the good thing is we're both flexible. At that time of conversation, he was not imposing. So that's another thing. The kind of person I got married to is a partner, is a builder. He put the cards on the table to say, I stay in Uyo, you stay in Abuja, and Lagos at the time, because I was able to move two places. Do you want to move? If it's not feasible for you to move, I can do the movement. So even from the onset, he was actually also ready to move. But I think one major thing for me was my mindset. I've always been a big believer of definition creates condition. So how am I defining the relocation? Am I seeing it as a setback, or rather to explore opportunities? That is how I saw it. So I had to reframe my mind. Rather than seeing it that like you said, Abuja, I had something good going on. I was always attending events, even Lagos. I had a circle of people, family, friends. I had built thought leadership. Now going to a place that doesn't have that kind of buzz, doesn't have that kind of condition that will make me, in quote, thrive with the kind of things that I was doing. But I had to reframe. Rather than seeing it as a challenge or setback or demotion, I said, okay, this is a new ground. Abraham had to leave his comfort zone, or where he had known and thrived in, to an unknown place, and God still blessed him there. So I decided to redefine it. And I know that that's what's going to create the condition for me. So I said, you know what? This is what we discussed before the movement. I'm willing to take the move, because at this point in my life, I feel my value is not restricted to relocation. Regardless, whether Abuja, Port Harcourt, Uyo, anywhere, Victoria is still going to thrive. That's who I am. It's not by where I am, right? So I'm willing to take that bet and move with you because I've said yes to you. It means I've said yes to where you are, who you are, and what you're bringing to the table at that time. So I'm ready to work on that. However, even with my motivational aspire to perspire that I have said definitions and all of those things, right? If I move there and I see that it's not something I want, right, we will move. And my husband said, yes, I'm ready to do that. If you come, just give me a few months. In fact, I'm putting it to you that in 1 year, 6 months, if you want, we will move to Abuja. So he already put that card on the table as well for me. And when I went to Uyo, he had created somewhere very comfortable for me, right? Maybe if you have further questions on that, but there's a whole lot of process, like maybe he wants to say something on that. But that's what's happened at that early stage for me.
I like that mindset of I will thrive irregardless whether I'm in Nigeria or abroad, and also that full commitment, because sometimes we commit, but when it gets to certain areas, we're like, okay, I love you, I want to be with you, but up until here. And you offered to actually move to Abuja.
Yeah.
And you still also said move to Uyo. What do you think made what was the deciding factor that you ended up not moving to Abuja and she came to you?
Okay, so when, like she mentioned, before we got married, that was one of the conversations we had. Where do we move to? And I said, okay, come to Abuja, come to Uyo. I'm willing to go to Abuja. I think we gave ourselves about 3 months because I was earning enough and could easily relocate if they need arrows. But I think so she just came basically to Uyo without any. I think she was understanding and she didn't really set standards that, oh, you have to come. So I think it was easy, but she understood me, I also understood her. And then when we came down to, when we are in Uyo, I think the first 3 months, we planned to move in 3 to 6 months. And in the first 3 months, it was almost time to pay house rent. And then I was like, babe, how far with our plans? And then she was like, Uyo looks good, it looks okay. Within the first couple of months, she had gotten a family. The family, I'm talking like the church, obviously. Yes. And then a lot of friends around. We could be walking on the street. I stayed in Uyo for about 2 years. Nobody stopped me and said, hey, Victor, how far? But just the first month, or the first week, we are just walking at one of the malls. And up to 2 people stopped her just that first week. We went to a church and then about 2 people stopped her. Hi, Victoria. Hi, Victoria. So it was like Uyo became a home to her. So we didn't see the need to just quickly rush back to Abuja. And then we started building in Uyo, making friends, connections, and all that. It was easy for me to say, let's go to Abuja. But I think she also gave it a chance because I wanted to make I wanted to make everything comfortable. I'm the kind of person that wherever I stay, I work remotely. So Abuja, Uyo, then not Lagos.
Why not Lagos?
As at then, not Lagos. But I think it was God worked on me, and then we've evolved. But wherever it was, I was able to move over. But we stayed in Uyo, and then she found the place as a home.
I think it's also important to know, because following his story, remember what I said, that definition creates condition. Because I already had the mindset that wherever I am, Victoria would thrive, and had to reframe. When I got to Uyo, the way God works, whatever you say and how you see, are you seeing the glass as half full or half empty? Because I had already opened my heart to Uyo. When I got to Uyo, I started seeing people. So it was like prepared place, I had prepared place there, prepared people that got positioned, prepared opportunity. It was right in Uyo that I got the invite for JCI top 10 young Nigeria persons in Nigeria. So Uyo did not restrict me in any way. It's like God was trying to prove to me the first 3 months. It was from Uyo I flew to Rwanda.
Oh wow!
For that our fellowship, because I had although I got it before I moved, but we moved. What I mean is I was in New York. So the point is, it didn't restrict any opportunity that I would have had even if I was in Abuja or Lagos. So because of the mindset I already had, so I was able to see the opportunities available there. built strong relationships, and in fact, it was I miss Uyo.
Wow. And it was even in Uyo that you did the 3MTT.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's a huge thing. Maybe if you're not Nigerian, you won't know what 3MTT, but I'll let her explain, because sometimes you think, some of these very big opportunities from the government are maybe restricted to certain major cities or states, but that was not the case.
Yeah, I feel like God just placed me in Uyo to be able to access certain opportunities. I don't know if I would have been able to do the 3MTT if I was in Lagos or Abuja, right? I can't tell. 3MTT is 3 million technical talents. It's a federal government initiative where people come to learn technical skills for free. And then I was leading it as a state coordinator and the community manager. And it gave me access to governments, both at state level. And so you see again, opportunity was not far from me, even in this seemingly local place, that people would tag, this place is local. This place is
and Uyo is actually really developed. And if you come to Uyo, a lot of people relocate from Lagos and major cities in Nigeria down to Uyo, especially remote workers. Wow. Really lovely place. Really lovely place, and it's cheap. Their accommodation is very cheap there, so a lot of people just relocate. So Uyo is not like local.
It's not local.
No, it's not.
I've been to Uyo and it's really
place.
nice. I didn't spend enough time, but it's a place that I would like to visit again. So you've settled 1 year in, 1 year, 3 months in. At any point, did you become restless or begin to think again, like, are we going to go to Abuja this time? Are we going to go to Lagos? Were you open to those kind of moves? Because you said not Lagos. So does that mean that a job opportunity comes that has Lagos on the tag, you'll be like, no, not Lagos?
Well, for me, I wasn't looking for jobs here in Nigeria. So the only type of job I would have gotten would have been in Lagos, but I was not looking for jobs here in Nigeria. And I don't think there was a point where, I think the longer we stayed in Uyo, the more Uyo accepted us, the more Uyo brought us in. We started, I think, just up till last year, we became quite close connections and relationships with people in government and all that. I think Uyo just kept on making a home for us. And even till we left, it was people were like, Victoria, are you going? Some of our friends cried. And then it was a tough decision, and I just roughed it and just said, I don't go. Packed my stuff one day and then called the truck and moved. Just like that. It was hard living with you. So you became a home for us. The longer we stayed, the more of a home it was. I won't say we thought of going anywhere. We'll still get back to how we agreed to move back to Lagos, how I changed my mind. And all that.
So I want to imagine you've fallen in love with this city, you've made friends, you're doing great work, you started a family, and it's almost like your comfort zone. Would you say that your moving to Lagos as a woman of faith was something that maybe God spoke to you about or confirmed it in your spirit? Or was this something that you thought, you know what, I like this place, but I know that my next place is not here. It's time to move. Yes.
That question. Beginning of the year, the theme was greater works. So I attend CCM. I had that thing personally even before my pastor declared that thing. So I was looking forward to maybe the same work but bigger impact. Same thing that I was doing but on a larger scale. I didn't know how that was going to happen. In my notes, because I have a vision board as well, I have my action plans and everything for the year. I also wrote that I wanted better opportunities in terms of job. I definitely love 3MTT and all the things that it was bringing to me, but I also knew that I needed to grow and I needed more. How that would happen or the specifics to that, I didn't know. Like they say, clarity is not gotten in a day, it's a journey, right? So I didn't know all of that until I got a message. There's no use saying how the whole process went, but it was a quick, in fact, when I got the message on LinkedIn, like I was headhunted, I was like, are you sure this person?
So you didn't send your application out?
At that time, I was headhunted, but I had to go through the process because this is a multinational. Yes. So the point is, I was just doing my stuff and somebody sent me a message on LinkedIn. Oh, I think I wasn't following the person wasn't following me. But I said, oh, I think you're a good fit for this role. Are you open to new opportunities? At that time, I didn't know the company, I didn't know the location. I'm open to new opportunities now. I said yes. And the person said okay. And that's when he said, send me your email address. And I sent the email address. The next day, I now got an email from this company.
Yes.
And say, okay, you need to fill an application form. So I now went through the normal recruitment process. Why doing all of these things? I was still very skeptical because I'm like, well, let me just do it. It's better to try.
Just try it.
And my husband is a big factor. This man is like, God, I don't know, maybe you have to tell them if God spoke to you or something, because this move is primarily my husband. And then considering the fact that he didn't like Lagos, he has said it mildly. In all our conversations, even before now, he has clearly said, I can go any other place safe for Lagos because he's quiet, He wants easy life. He doesn't like the stress of Lagos. For somebody who was born in Lagos. Right. Do you want to?
No, I think it's because back to talk about Lagos now. Lagos has, and the Lagos I knew about 15 years ago, I left in 2010. And I don't think I've visited Lagos. I've stayed in Lagos up to 20 days since 2010 up to this year.
This is his first.
So this is my first. I think just twice I traveled for an interview, and then I think just the 3 times I came to Lagos was for an interview after my NYSC.
Was your NYSC in Uyo?
Yes, that's why he stayed in Uyo.
Oh wow!
It was in Uyo. That's another story. But so in coming back to Lagos, I just knew, first of all, I think I had to key into the fact I saw God working behind the scene. I have to mention that I saw God working behind the scene because my wife needed maybe a change. There were certain things we needed in our life as a family, and so when the job came up, when she got the message, I said, no, I'll apply now. There's nothing wrong in applying. So she applied. The next thing, started with the interview process. I supported her through the whole process. When we started the process, I was sure that maybe it was time to go to Lagos. And I'm not, in as much as this is what I like, I'm always out there searching for what is God's will regarding this. I think that is the only reason I didn't leave the country yet, because there was a time everybody was leaving.
Yeah, with your skills.
It's my skill, and I had some good money. I had the funds, and then I was even working for a company which I just needed to make an application. Yes. But still, I didn't move because is it the will of God? Every you can prosper in anywhere, but where's your promised land? That was my reasoning. So when she got the email and started the process, something in my head just reset, bro, you might be going to Lagos, so just prepare.
He said it though, joke. At that point, I didn't even know for sure if it was going to be a remote job. Remember, I didn't have so much details yet, but he was open from the beginning to it, and it was so shocking how the transition happened.
And I think because God wouldn't just give you certain things. If God is bringing something that will take you to Lagos, he just gives you a signal. That email was the signal. And then if I'll be foolish to start struggling with the whole process, because I'm someone who can work from anywhere. And then coming to Lagos, I've seen it's not the Lagos I knew 15 years back. It's way better. I see better roads. The thing that traumatized me then was the traffic at Badagry Expressway. They've not even started the road then. And then we came coming back from work at from Trade Fair Complex. It was like every evening you have to struggle and jump into the bus, and then I jump into the bus, secure space for my mom. Then my mom enters, the bus is already filled. Sometimes I could push people to just secure 2 seats. Sometimes she has to let me. So it was a traumatic experience. I said never again. I came to Owerri, everything was just slow, everybody. And then even in Uyo, I think 2 years ago, I remember I was not driving my vehicle, my car was at the mechanic, and I wanted to go to the bank, or it was an urgent, so I was just running around, and then I waved down a bus and jumped into the moving vehicle, and everybody was shocked. It's just like 2 years ago. In GS1 I was jumping into Moluwe then, and there was still Moluwe then in Lagos, but Lagos has changed.
And
as a young boy, 10 years old, 10 years old, my parents were concerned that this boy I was going to commando show the. We are concerned that this boy, no, this is too traumatic. They had to put me into Nigerian Navy at Ojo Barracks, yeah. So that was where I finished my secondary school. So the trauma from back then, but Lagos, it's a different Lagos, I'll confess.
But because you were even open to, if you were stuck in that trauma and not willing to move, probably
I've not felt the
and also it speaks of your support for her, because you are ready before the marriage, during the marriage, to say, look, if this was going to work for you, if this is what God wants for you, I'm going to be a stepping stone and not a stumbling block. Of course. That email was divine. You did not go sending your CV, begging. All you did in the secret place is God, greater works. And wow.
Right. Right. It was a huge sacrifice. I remember there's a question you asked about, because I remember when I just moved to you, another very important thing I want to mention is he knew and understood that it was a sacrifice for me. So you remember he mentioned in his introduction that I didn't kick back, I didn't make any problem out of it, but he knew that regardless of how light I took it, it's still a sacrifice to move from my comfort zone and from the things that I know, from the work that I was doing that was fetching me money and all of those things, to a smaller place. So every time he was checking in on me, if I just put my face like this, as much as sit down and do like this, my husband will come at me. That's the first few months. Babe, are you okay? Do you want to move? Is this place? I'm not joking. At some point I was like, you free me, I'm okay. Can somebody not? Was I be doing my mouth like this before So he was always constantly checking in because he knew that I made a sacrifice, to see if the sacrifice was hurting or if I was flourishing in it, right? And make adjustments when necessary. So that's
because she was, before marriage, she was a person who always organized conferences, went for conferences and all that, and then I just brought you to your room
where nothing was
happening, and then she just stayed inside. I'm the very indoor kind of person. I stay at home, work from home. I'm comfortable. I can stay in the house for 3 weeks. So far, I have someone bringing my food and all that without having any issues. I don't go out. So I was bringing her to that kind of lifestyle, and I was a good person, and I was like, babe, are you okay? Should we go to Abuja? I didn't want her to be moody and gloomy, but she became that kind of person, and now she herself hardly goes out.
So you now invest to talk better. But funny we created a fun place in the U. We started having couples nights, friends. It was hard though. Now I've not been able to do all of those things in Lagos. That is seemingly buzzing.
So this Lagos move, when you got the job, I mean, you could have chosen to take it, or you could have chosen not to take it and still wait for something even bigger or greater, or you could have said, you know what, God, I'm not yet done with Uyo. So how were you able to reach that decision and just pack and leave? And I feel like moving from Abuja/Lagos, that's already 2 cities. Then you're moving to Uyo, and then now you're moving to Lagos. It can be a lot, like uprooting things.
It was a lot, even for him, right? But I think I missed the question.
Like how you were able to arrive at this decision, because at the end of the day, just getting a job offer doesn't mean you have to take it.
Okay,
And knowing that he didn't want to go to Lagos, knowing that you also were comfortable in Uyo, what was that push that made you say, you know what, our time is up here, let's move?
Okay, so different things, different factors. One would be that initially when I knew it was Lagos, I already blocked my mind that no, I can't do this.
And that's what I was expecting to hear, that as soon as you find out.
To be honest, personally, I already was dragging. I started feeling bad that this opportunity that looks big and I've just missed out. But anyways, one door closed, another one opens. That kind of positive mind. It was my so surprise. That's why I said at the core of all of this move is a man who was able to identify the seasons of our lives and knew that God was calling us hither, to come up hither. And for him to stretch out of that, his comfort zone, with what he's building, with the things that God is doing in this season, he needed to come out of that circle that he has enclosed himself in as well. Maybe he hadn't realized it at that time, but God was dropping seeds of conviction in his heart before it now. So at that point, it was for me.
Yeah.
Right? I was the center of that conviction. He was telling me, babe, this is something you want. And I said, okay, we would go. We actually had to pray about it as well. But this move was actually very quick. The story,
it was quick and unplanned.
It was
quick and unplanned. So I don't know the reason why, but they suddenly needed her to be in Lagos the next day.
I don't understand.
I don't never really. They had an explanation, but for me, it was.
What do you mean the next day?
Yes.
Well, the way it happened was we just came back from the grandma's burial, and immediately we dropped our stuff. We got the email that she's been accepted and all that. Then she got a call afterwards that sorry, we need you to just come in for verification. Will you be able to come in for verification like tomorrow? And it was sudden. I didn't have an issue with that, but it was just sudden. They needed her to come in for verification at least, because I think it was a time sensitive function. So and I just said, okay, babe, that means you are going back we tried booking flight immediately. We couldn't get a flight for the next day from Uyo to Lagos. The next flight the only flight we could get was from Owerri to Lagos. So coming back from Owerri, the next day we just planned that, okay, we are going back to Owerri. So we had to drive back to Owerri and then put her in a flight. And so it was just so sudden. We didn't have time to say goodbye to friends. While we were even driving back, we started sending message, I got the job, I'm leaving you. And we didn't have time to do a get together and say, we are going out with the friends and all that.
But this was just verification. That wasn't the plan to just come back.
No, I had gotten my offer letter. So remember that there was already a recruitment process, even if it took 3 weeks or 2 weeks. But again, I wasn't sure that I was going to get the job. But I got the confirmation that morning when we just arrived from Owerri. And also, verification was not just verification, for me to submit my documents. I have been confirmed and I got in my offer letter, accepted the offer that same day, did everything, and they wanted me to resume, just to come in, to clock in. There's an explanation for that, right? I didn't need to start coming back to you because I had to resume the next week.
So you didn't come back to you?
I just moved with one box, myself and my daughter, and he dropped us at the airport. That was it. It's very important to note, babe. You remember, we're actually very spontaneous. Looking back, I think that many things we don't hold on to things for too long. I think it's also a value system that we have unconsciously share, because there's a lot of moves that we made that some people cannot make.
If I was in his shoes, I'd be like, my daughter, maybe she has already started school. Why don't you go ahead?
He didn't give time to even process. He didn't even give me the time to process it. He said, this is it. We have gotten clearance in the spirit that this is for you. So why should I now start trying to use all the challenges and start thinking? So he didn't give me time to think about the challenges.
There was no need.
So you remained in Uyo and you basically packed up.
I stayed till I think May. Why? Because we needed to search for a house here in Lagos first. We needed to gather our stuff in Lagos. There was some leads I needed to pursue in Uyo for a while. So it was in May. She left in April. And then I joined her in May. So when she was saying we are quite spontaneous, I think we moved houses twice under the space of how many years?
1 day or 2 years.
As
the decision happened
in 2 years, we moved houses twice. Although it was within the first move was within the same compound, and someone moved out, and then I said, babe, we called my landlord, can I move up? And he said yes. So we moved up before 1 year expired. We were just having a conversation, and then someone spoke about how they were living in a bungalow. I don't know. I told my wife, babe, let's go search for a house. And we got the house the next week.
On Friday, we had a discussion on Friday where somebody was just talking about how she was sharing the gains of living in your compound. You have planned.
It excited us, and we got house on Tuesday next week.
The agents. That's how Tuesday we've gotten house.
And I think whether it was in preparation or whatever, but that was it's with that same mindset we just processed the whole moving idea. It was not something that we thought of us. We are like, babe, how are we going to do? And
so your logical mind would be like, okay, let's take a minute, let's do our relocation process, let's do this. It was like, go and leave me to handle everything behind. I'll come and sort things out. I think is so refreshing and encouraging to hear, because a lot of times people want to make those decisions of their own, but when you are really sacrificial and you love the other person, then you do what's in their best interest, and obviously what God has placed in your heart. So I if another opportunity comes, I'm sure it won't be hard for either of you to just up and go. Clearly,
I think God will prepare us.
Life again, different
seasons.
This season of our life, I think we were prepped before it happened. Maybe not directly, but we were prepped for it. Another season might call for another, maybe a way we would have handled it differently. I don't know. But for now, this is how it happened. It was spontaneous. We didn't give room to face the challenges. Like I said, we reframed our mind that this is better for us. This is what God wants at this time in our lives, and we're able to move. If God has said go, so why do we need to start bugging our minds with many things?
Reminds me of Abraham, like go and wow. And my final question will be your biggest lesson in all of this, relocating for love, even the time you stayed apart for 1 month or so while you were handling things and she was doing the job with your child. What's the biggest lesson? Because I know there are people that will watch and they might be like, okay, I'm not going to move. I can't jack. But let me not even lie. One of the things I said when I was getting married is that I don't want to live abroad. I don't. So, and I also don't want to live anywhere else apart from Lagos, to be honest. I'm one of those people, yes. My parents live in Abuja, and I schooled 1 year in Abuja and I go visiting, but nah. So I'm one of those people. So I don't know how I'd have handled it. I know God would have probably touched my heart and everything, but what's that piece of advice that you have for people who might be in a position to relocate and maybe end up splitting the family or just taking that leap of faith? Both of you, that would be my final question.
I think you should just be open, understand times and seasons. It was easy for us to move, might not be easy for you. So your story and your journey is different. Just be sure that this is what God wants at this time. Check your values. Check what is at stake as well. For us, it was easy for him as well, even if he made some sacrifices to move because he had the flexibility at the time. And me, I was open to opportunities at the time as well. So for you, it might be different. So if it requires, that season of your life requires that you stay apart maybe for some time, don't feel bad or guilty about it. Just find a way to work around it. Even within that 1 month we were apart, he surprised me. If you live into Lagos, I just woke up one morning and I saw my husband in my parents' house. So just try to make sacrifices can come in different forms. The most important thing is that your marriage is working. You're not selfish. It's not relocation. He didn't relocate for me. I didn't relocate for him. We relocated for each other. I moved to Uyo because of us, and he moved back to Lagos because of us. At the core of it was our family. It's important to us, so that's it.
And if I'm to add, I think if I'm to advise anyone, if you're making any decision, let it be backed by your conviction which God has given you. I think it was easy for me just because God had prepared me. If I didn't get any conviction from God, or maybe it would have been different. We would have been able to mention like 101 reasons why this will not work. We can be that detailed with our analysis and excuses. So I think God prepared us, and so we should always get that conviction first, beyond excitement, beyond love also follows, but beyond all that, I think you need to be clear with God on that matter.
Oh, thank you so much, Victor and Victoria and Victor. I've been trying to think of another name that combines the two, but I couldn't.
No, that combines it too.
Like victorious.
Victorious. They were victorious.
So Victor, Victoria, and victorious.
The victorious ones.
Victorious family.
Yes, the V's. Well,
The V's,
Thank you so much.
all the best with this new assignment, and trust me, you will enjoy Last Giddy. Don't worry, you enjoy it.
You enjoying
I'm
it
enjoying it already.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Isabella. Thank you.
Oh, this is the part where I tell you what I'm loving now. I put you on to the good stuff. And as I said in an earlier episode, I'm definitely in my bookaholic era. And yeah, you can see at my nose in between, not one, but two books. And this time I came with something for the kids, but I think adults too enjoy reading it. And you can see, I am a Nigerian STEM. I am a Nigerian literary arts. And this kind of reminds me of secondary school. I feel like I need one to say I'm a Nigerian commercial. But if you attended a Nigerian secondary school, you know, at least early 2000s or late 90s. I don't know what it is now. You're going to science class, art class, or commercial class. So this is like the science part, and it's STEM. What I love about this book, I'm a Nigerian in STEM, by Foluke Oyeleye, and I'm a Nigerian in literary arts, also by Foluke Oyeleye. What I love about them is that when we're looking for books of great people that have distinguished themselves, you go to the library or you go to the bookstore, and most times it's filled with foreigners. But we have so many of these talents. Now, when we think STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, mathematics, how many people can you just call at the drop of a hat? You'll probably be thinking Einstein, you'll be thinking foreign names. But you have people like Dora Akunyili. We know the work she did when she was at NAFDAC, Olikoye Ransom Kuti, Chike Obi, Adenike Osofison, Wendy Okolo, Rabia Salihu Said, Isaac Fola Alade, Funke Okpeke, Kofoworola Abeni Pratt. I'm sure some of these names, James Wonyi Adiche, you might not even know these names, but these are people that have distinguished themselves, Nigerians that have distinguished themselves in the area of science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And I love the fact that there are lovely illustrations. We eat with our eyes, and they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Who did it? You can see illustrations. This gets a little wild, talking about a zoologist under the sea. I think with this kind of books, you can get people interested in STEM, and people that they can recognize, people that have the same color of skin, people that speak the same language from the same country. It's so important that we highlight the work that people are doing in these fields. And then I'm a Nigerian in literary arts. You look at it, some of the names here, I'm sure when you say literary arts, maybe that might be easier. You'll be thinking of Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, Wale Soyinka, and here you have Buchi Emecheta, you have Maman Vatsa, you have Zainab Alkali, you have Flora Nwapa, you have Chinua Achebe, of course, you have Nana Asmao, you have Chimudu Onuzo, Sefiata, and quite a number of names here. And look at Dike Chukwumerije. He's an amazing performance poet. He's also spoken word artist, lawyer, writer, has his date of birth. You have a Christopher Okigbo. I love the illustrations. Wale Soyinka. Oh, I'm looking for a woman. Yeah, Buchi Emecheta. And Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Maman Vatsa, military personnel. I knew he was a military personnel and he was Babangida's friend in school, but I didn't know that he was in the literary arts. So I think, look at showing where Zainab studied, this Zaria. So again, we have the talents here. And kudos. Yes, it's not kudos, it's kudos. Kudos to Foluke Oyeleye. I know these are not the only books in this series. That's the Tani series. So you can go to taniseries.com and you can find out about the other books in the series. But these two stood out for me because, quick story, I was in arts class, even though everyone said I should go to the sciences, but I knew what I wanted. So I went to art class and I still did some science subjects. I mean, everyone does biology, but in the secondary school I attended, I also did further maths, which is a science subject, right? I did physical education, which is not quite an art subject. So I feel like this was a blend of my secondary education, more to the literary arts, because I did literature, I did history, and I still had a bit of STEM, further maths. So yeah, I totally recommend these. I'm loving them, and it's a great way to discover the great things about Nigeria. Not every time bad news and doom and gloom. So important. What are you loving now? Connect with me in the comments, and yeah, you can even suggest books, because as you can see, I'm in my bookaholic era again. Welcome to the part where I answer your burning questions or questions of my own so that I can get your perspective. And today I want to talk about, or I posed the question to you about this new helicopter parenting that a lot of us parents, millennial parents, are guilty of, where you want to shield the child, you want to give them everything that they need, you want to be there for them 24/7, you want to pamper them, you want to maybe correct wrongs that you might have felt you had as a child. Maybe your parents didn't give you this much, so now you want to correct it. And I think helicopter parenting does more harm than good, because we want to teach our children to be resilient. Sometimes I just think, like, what if, God forbid, but what if I'm not here? God forbid, what if their dad is not here? God forbid, what if something happens? I know nothing will happen, but I want to believe that even if we're still here and they have to move away to a different continent, what if my child needs to move to Australia? How am I preparing that child? How am I allowing them to, yes, make mistakes? To sometimes remove the safety floaters within reason. I don't mean literally in the water, but sometimes allow your children to build resilience, allow them to take on projects, allow them to go through situations that will stretch them so far as they are safe, they're not being hurt, they're not being abused. I think it's important that we just give them space to be kids again. And one thing I know is that growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, there was still this big thing about community, where you live in a compound and you play with the kids from the other flats or houses in the compound. Some of such people, I'm still in contact with them. And you knew your neighbors. You could even go to your neighbor's house to eat. Now, I'm not saying you should let your child go and eat in someone else's house, but I'm just saying that there were less rains, and that helped us. I mean, I had to go to boarding house, but because I wasn't overly shielded, because I had the opportunity to play with my friends, go to people's houses, and my parents weren't with me 24/7, I was able to adapt better when I went to secondary school, boarding house, and also when I went to university. So now that I'm a parent, it's a struggle, I won't lie, because you want to do so much for your children, but at the same time, I try to also hold back, that I don't let them miss out on growing, because growth comes with challenges, it comes with discovering yourself, it comes with building resilience, and it comes with allowing them to push themselves just a little further, allowing them to go for it. And no, I'm not saying leave them, but be in the background. You're watching them, you're there for them in case they fall, but you're not holding them every single second of the day. So how's it been for you? Are you familiar with helicopter parenting? Let me know in the comments and what has worked for you and what didn't work too. It'll be interesting to know. I mean, we're still figuring these things out. There's no manual on parenting. They don't teach it in school. So sometimes you get your information from books, from friends, from the internet, even from a podcast like ForFamilies Podcast. And I hope that you're locked into our podcast. So maybe this is the time to ask you again. If you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. Subscribe and hit the notification bell and keep those questions coming in. I'd love to answer them. I loved this conversation. I think it was so cute. Victor and Victoria. I know I added the third one, Victoria's, but they're the V's. Victor and Victoria, they shared their story and it was really encouraging, and I think it was really nice to see partners who are so in tune with themselves and also big believers. You could tell that the conversation, the decisions they made were very much driven by their faith in God, and it allowed them to take those courageous steps. Packing your bags and just moving for a marriage is not easy. When you leave, it's not just a physical move. It's also saying goodbye to familiarity, to friends, to family, to opportunities. And there's nothing ever fully guaranteed. But that story just showed that, like something Victoria said, when she moved to Uyo from Abuja, it wasn't because of him. And when he moved to Lagos because she got a job offer in Lagos, it wasn't because of her. In both instances, it was because of them. That's what she said, because of us. So it wasn't, I'm doing this for him, I'm doing it for us. And that change of mindset where you're framing it, definition is what will, I think, inspire the condition or something along those lines. Really enjoyed that interview. I'm in my book era and I enjoyed bringing you not one but two books which show off Nigerians in literary arts, Nigerians in STEM. So if you're looking for role models for your kids, or your kids have shown an aptitude for the sciences or the literary arts and you're not sure where to start from, and you want them to see people of the same color, same race, the same nationality, or even the same tribe, because quite a number of tribes were represented, I would definitely say you should pick up those two books in the Tani series. And finally, helicopter parenting. What do you think of today's millennial parents? Are they doing too much? Are they doing the most? Are they overly protective, overly involved? What are your views? I'd love to hear from you. And I hope you've been enjoying our podcast, ForFamilies Podcast. I know I've been having an amazing time. And I just want to say thank you to all our guests who trust us week in, week out to come here, share their stories, be vulnerable with us, and just share in hope that we'll have better families. People will become better parents, better children, better spouses, and truly, families are the heart of everything. So till I come your way next week with yet another episode, I remain your host, Isabella Adediji. Goodbye.